It's a nice observation that the work is connected to writing, and I think that it really is. And a good bit of what really inspires me is writing, and in particular poetry. Not that I'm interested so much in the notion of poetry, but the economy of the form of poetry makes a lot of sense to me in relation to sculpture. And the idea of poetry being a reduced form means that you take existing words, and the order of those words is what lends meaning to poetry, or to any writing for that matter, but let's talk about poetry. And in that sense, in the process of my work, the invention comes in relation to things that either already exist or things that somebody makes using the same processes of their normal life. For example, in the exhibition here, the works that are woven by hand weavers are woven by people who weave every day. And I asked them to weave a piece of yarn that was the distance from the earth to above the weather, which is about 12 kilometers. And the process of them weaving that is no different than their process of weaving any other thing. It's just that instead of handing them a design, I told them to use a yarn that was a specific length. And so in that sense, the process of working for me has to do with making something new. It's not my opinion is something that is very sort of pushed away from it, that the motivation of why I'm having somebody weave the distance from the earth to above the weather is less about any kind of memory than it is about the idea of literally looking at a distance, asking people to look at the distance, and in this case, asking a weaver to touch the distance from the earth to above the weather. And then you look at this blanket and you know that this is the detail, and then you see the results of the process. One of the ways to look at the different works of mine in the exhibition would be you could talk about different types of visibility, how much you do and don't see in an artwork or in an idea. There are two lights on either side of a wall that contains a bell in it. And you're told that there's a bell in the wall, but you're unable to see it, and the lights mark the spot where the bell is. So you know where the bell is, but you can't hear it and you can't see it. It doesn't mean it's not there. It's as present as everything else, in the same way as electricity and water are present in every apartment, even though you don't necessarily see it. You don't see electricity, but you know that it's there, and you know that it's running through the floors and through the walls. And similarly, the woven blankets, that you're told that the distance between the earth and the weather has been woven, but you don't see that. You don't see the edge of the weather. It's not like when the work very much comes from being in an airplane that's coming into land, and as you break through the clouds, you can see what the day is like in the place where you're going, and that distance became really interesting to me. And so in that sense, you can't see that at all, but it is what the work is. Like, as the first part of your question about writing, it very much has if you write about this distance from the earth to above the weather, it's a similar sort of process of description. And then the work with the scale is just a very literal and very simple shift of something that is used to measure the weight of something and the gravity of something being turned to its side and becoming the object of weight and the object of gravity.